well, so thank you. Yes, because I didn't record. We're going. Excellent. So, as I say, if you're just joining us, I'll just go back to the opening slide. Obviously, this is a half an hour training session on Quizizz. It's the third one I've done today. First question for you is just to let me know, have you used it, yes or no? I see some of you are already replying. I think you're saying, Russ, half of the people got you. How many people are you with, Russ? Just put that in the chat box so we know, because Wendy will be keeping an idea on the attendance, just so she knows who's attending. You're getting access to, we're keeping a record of who's attending training. Okay, so Nick's saying he's created one from scratch. Brilliant. Also uploaded one and create. Okay, brilliant. Excellent. That's useful. I thank you for listing all the people there. There's quite a few of you by sounds of it. Russ, that's fine. Serena, you've not used it. Okay, no, that's fine. And you've used but not created. No problem. I'm intrigued now to answer what you actually used. Then, if you didn't create it, was there one that you'd already put together for you? Because there are freely available quizzes that are there that you can use. So I'm assuming that's what you mean, Angela, with that one. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm using uploading City and Guilds worksheet and editing using AI. That's great. So yeah. So I'm sure you understand that because we've got people with varying experiences, and I kind of figured this would happen, which is absolutely fine. I'm obviously going to have to create I've planned a session which includes some of the basics, but also hopefully some new features, so at least everybody's getting something out of the session. The plan will be that I'm going to go through just some of the basics, show you once you've logged in and got into the accessed it via your college email, how you create a quiz, how you then can upload a document like some people have been indicating here, which is a really useful tool, or upload a website, and how it will create a quiz around that document or around that website. And then I've created a quiz for you. Because one of the problems with that feature of doing it with the document is it will only create one type of questions, and that will literally be a multiple choice quiz with 4 options. And obviously Quizizz, particularly the premium feature now, and by the way, you should all have access to it. Let me know if you don't, and we'll make sure you're on that premium list. But there's lots of options for answering questions and for creating questions in Quizizz. So I've created rather than trying to show you how each question works, I've created a short quiz which includes about 4 or 5 different question types. So at least you can see the potential of what you can create. And then what I'm going to do for you all is a short screencast for every type of question. So you'll be able to go back and remind yourself how to create those particular questions, because it just makes it a bit more interesting if the students haven't always just got 4 options and they're selecting one of the 4 options. So that's the plan basically. And then later on, I said, if we got time, we've had time in the previous 2 ones, I'll show you a brilliant new feature called accommodations, which is where effectively you can attach your Google Classroom lists to quizzes, and then you can make specific accommodations for any learners that you think need a bit of extra time. Perhaps they've got dyslexia and they need different font colors or font size. There's a whole host of accommodations that I can show you later on. But without further ado, let's go into Quizizz. So I'm already logged in. Appreciate that if you haven't logged in before and you're signing up, obviously make sure you sign up with your college email, okay? And hopefully then you should automatically get access to the premium features. But if you don't, I'll communicate with Conrad and Petra about how we can get you on that premium license, because at the moment we have got access to that for you, and it is really good. Some of the things I'm going to show you today are only premium. Okay, so once you've signed up, logged in, I'm obviously in the My Library tab, okay, which is the second one down. There is option to find, there's already, if you go to Explore, you can search for quizzes in your topic. So there are already lots of quizzes already created that once you find one, you can edit them and make your own, okay? But I'm going to start with, rather than going through those today, because those are things you can explore yourself, I'm going to go into this important tab here, which is called Create. Can you all see that? So that's how you create the quizzes, regardless of whether you do it from scratch or whether you do it, with a few shortcuts using AI, which I'm going to recommend because actually, why wouldn't you get a bit of assistance in your busy jobs? This is where AI hopefully will help you cut down your workload. Now you can see there's 5 different things you can create here. I'm not going to have time to go through them all. I'm mainly going to focus on quizzes today, but just to give you a very quick background. So the lesson one's an interesting one because effectively, rather than using PowerPoint or Google Slides, you would have your full slide deck within that format. And you can actually upload, if you've already got a PowerPoints or Google Slides, you can upload them into this section. And obviously the great thing about it then is you can have interactive quizzes in between your slides. That's a nice feature to make your lessons more interactive, more student-centered. Interactive video is great because it means you can take a YouTube video and again, you can add questions at various points during the video. And the sort of questions that you're going to experience in my quiz later, they're all available in the interactive video one. The passage one could be interesting for anyone that's particularly English, where effectively you can take an article and then it will create some comprehensive questions around it. And then finally, there's the flashcard one, which is obviously for memory retention. But like I say, because I've only got half an hour today, I'm focusing on the quiz option. Now, the quiz option, when you get to this stage, these 2 tabs are quite similar. So for uploading a document, it won't surprise you. You're going to go into import worksheets. Okay, you can see you can either import straight from your Google Drive, could be a picture, or upload from device. So when you click on that, it takes you into your computer, a menu, and I've got one I've prepared before here, just some information about the history of education. It uploads it very quickly, and then I can choose then how many questions I want it to generate. If it's automatic, it will tend to think about how long that document is. So if it's a 7-page document, I did one earlier and it generated 60 questions, which is far too much, but that's what automatic will do. So for the purpose of today, I'm just going to click on 5, and then you can see this is the AI, which reads the content and generates the quiz. Okay, I should try that again. The first time today that's gone wrong, so let's just try it one more time. Load it again and click on generate quiz. There you go, it's working now. But it isn't, sorry about this. I wonder if it's because I'll try one other thing. Odd law, this has worked perfectly all day, and it normally works perfectly. So I'm just going to check in case it's because I haven't selected a year. So you can alter it to what, obviously our students will tend to be the upper age groups, but you are able to alter that as well. So let's try one final time. I've no idea why that isn't working at the moment. Sorry about this. I'll give it one last try. Could just be we've got lots of people, more people in the room for this session. That's creating it is uploading it though. One final time. Keep my fingers crossed. Okay. It's definitely not more than 30 pages, only one document. So let's try one other thing. Let's go back one. Generate with AI. Okay, this time we'll go with a text prompt. So generate a quiz about the history of education in the UK. There we go. Let's try again. And again, we'll go for 5 questions. Fingers crossed. Okay, so what it does now, which is quite neat, is it generates the sort of topics that it might look at. And you can obviously ask for it to include those, or you can add another subtopic as well. So it does that. And then obviously now I can click on generate quiz around it. Oh, I think we're working this time. That's good. Okay. And then it will create that multiple choice quiz. Okay. Right in front of me, which is really, really useful. Okay. And then I can ask for it to regenerate, or I can continue to editor, and it puts it in the editor feature. And then effectively, if I'm happy with this, obviously I can go edit, I can add other questions, I can publish, and that's ready to go. because I don't like to give up easily, I'm just going to try one last time with the document because it's annoying me that it's not working. So give me one last try. So again, we go into generate, we go into quiz. Oh, I've already got on generation, quiz. I think it's still trying to do the previous one. That's the issue. Okay, right. We'll come back to that afterwards if that's okay. Let's go into now. So remember I said to you I wanted to show you how to run the quiz, but also I wanted to show you the different question options. And I figure the best way to show you that is just for you to have a go at a live quiz. Okay. So when you go into the quiz and you've created it, you've got two key options here. One is assign, or that's if you wanted to set it as homework asynchronously, or start now. Well, we're going to go for the live quiz, which is just start now. Okay. And then you get a number of different options here. We're just going to go for classic mode. There's obviously lots of different options you can choose. I always go for classic. And then you can decide we're going to come back to accommodations later. I'm just going to click on start now. Now, what it will do now for you is it will give you the joining options. So you can see the students generally have two options. They can just click on joinmyquiz.com and the number. I want you to do this, by the way, please. So joinmyquiz.com, put in the number, which is 491436, or they can join via the QR code. So I often, when I do it in my class, bring the QR code up, the students come up and scan it. But obviously, anyone on a laptop can still join with joinmyquiz.com with 491436. So you've got two options here for joining. So you'll probably get a better experience if you join the quiz because you'll be able to see the question types that I've created beforehand. So join as quickly as you can, if that's all right. Thank you very much. Give everyone a minute or two more. This will be great. You'll be able to see what it looks like from the teacher perspective. And if you join, you'll be able to experience it from a student perspective. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Russ, PW, Wendy and Elliot. People are still joining. Fantastic. Brilliant. Just give everyone else a bit more time in case they haven't joined yet. And obviously, it's good here if you get the students put their correct names in because then you know how they're getting on if you're using this as a starting point exercise at the beginning of the class or whether you're using it as a recap at the end of the lesson or the start of a new lesson to see what they can remember from the week before. Yeah, we've got 11 in. Now, this quiz includes a range of different types of questions. Okay, is anybody else waiting to get in or am I okay to press start now? Give you another 30 seconds. We'll still see people joining. Okay, right. I'm going to press start. That's all right. I'll turn the sound off because that can be distracting. I'll turn the sound off. Good luck. Away you go. If you haven't managed to join yet, the number is still on the screen. You can still go joinmyquiz.com. The number's still there at the top. So we'll just wait for everyone to finish. Ray, you seem to be stuck on the second question for some reason. I might have to remove you if you lost your signal. We'll just give everyone a couple more minutes to finish off. I think Ray's got stuck. Okay, we'll give you one more minute to finish. I'm going to end it, otherwise we're going to run out of time. There's a few more things I want to show you. Yeah, you must have lost signal, Ray, the fact you couldn't get beyond number 2. Okay, I know that Rashini and Andrew are coming to the last question, but I'm going to click end if that's all right, just so we can move on. I can show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, so when you finish the quiz, obviously it will bring up the podium. So congratulations to Ifty for gold medal, PW for second, I'm not sure who that is, and Russ gets the bronze. So what you can then do is, which is really nice, which I do, is the review questions feature. So what this does now is go through each of the questions. Obviously, I'm not going to spend long on it now, but you can go through, and obviously this is where you can have, if you like, a higher order, deeper discussions around the topics on these particular questions. Okay, I'm not going to do it now because of time. You can obviously see how people did, which is useful. Even when you get to the questions like these questions, labeling, again, and even the hotspot, you can see how they did as well, which is really useful, like data to extend the conversations. And then the very last question, which you know was open-ended, obviously then you can have a deeper conversation. You can see exactly what they've written. And in normal circumstances, I would have given you about 5 questions for a question like that. But obviously, because we've got limited time today, half an hour, your answers haven't been as detailed, and we're not going to have the discussion I would normally have. But I just wanted to show you that that's a useful way of showing you how at the end you can kind of do the plenary, go through the answers, get a bit more deeper discussions happening. So that was how to run a synchronous quiz, i.e. a live quiz. You can see it keeps all the data within that section. What I'm going to show you now is how to then run it asynchronously. And this is where the accommodations come in. Now, before you can start using accommodations, i.e. adjustments for your students, before you can assign these to your Google Classrooms, you've got to add some of your Google Classrooms. So can you see on the left-hand side, there's a tab with classes. So you need to click on classes, okay? And then you can see I've already started to add some of my classes, and some of them are dated because I wanted to use groups that old groups. So when I'm assigning these to them, they weren't getting the email. So obviously, normally I won't be using that. I'll be using the more up to date ones. So that's how you assign your classes effectively. Well, that's the finished product. How you assign them is, can you see top right up here? You've got import a new class from, and you want to click on the downward facing arrow, and you can say these are all the different VLEs that operate. We're obviously Google Classroom. And if you're logged in with your college Google account, what it will do now is bring up all your Google Classrooms in your name. So you can see all my Google Classrooms are here. If I want to import one, the one's already imported, it tells me. If I want to import this class, I just click on it and click on next. Okay? So it will then import that class in. Now, this is the clever bit that will come up, it comes up with next. As I import the class, it gives me their names, and then it allows me to make accommodations for those particular students. Okay? So if I wanted to make some accommodations for Lisa, I click on her name, and then I could decide whether I wanted to, so it read each question aloud. I could give her extra time for each question. I could, because remember, this is asynchronously, so it's not going to be waiting for somebody. We can decide how we're going to adapt this. We can say how many attempts they can have for each question. On the multiple choice, we could reduce the options from 4 to 3 or 2. We can give them redemption questions, which is a gamified feature where they can have another go at a question at the end. And then there's all these other things around accessibility, such as dyslexia font size. I could increase the size of font to large. I could increase the font spacing to medium. If you've got a student who English isn't their first language, then you could do some translation. It's got quite a choice. Not every language is in there, but there's a range of languages. And likewise, you've got the bilingual dictionary, or you've got the translate. So this is really neat, this accommodation. And obviously, when I'm happy with that for that student, I'll click on Save Changes. And then when I've been through them all, and obviously haven't got time to go through them all now, I'll say Done. Okay. And then effectively, I'm ready then that I've added that class now. When I go back into my library and I want to run that quiz asynchronously, again, click on the quiz. Remember before that we clicked on Start Now. We're not going to go into Start Now. You're going to go into Assign. Okay. Now what I can do is about halfway down, I've got a tab which says Assign to a class. And you can see I've added 7 classes. So I'm going to pick which class I want to send this to, or which Google Classroom area. Okay. Let's say I'm going to go for an old class so it doesn't confuse my current students. And then I'd put in the name. So let's say I put Assessment 1. And I can choose what scoring I put for it, and then Next. And then obviously ask me again about any accommodations. So even at that stage, if you want to alter any of the accommodations, you can do. I'm going to skip over that, and that's ready now. And I can click on Assign, and that will immediately populate it into Google Classroom. Obviously, hopefully this is something you've made the students aware of anyway. And obviously, but they normally remember when you post something on Google Classroom, they get an email to their student email. That's a brilliant way of. So we've shown you the synchronous. Now I've shown you the asynchronous. So I will do that because it's an old class, so they shouldn't get anything. And if they do, I can always explain to them. And that assigns it straight away. And you can see then I've got this dashboard telling me when the students are going to do it. So it will tell me their accuracy, it will tell me when they've completed it. And I'll get, for each student, it will then tell me whether they've done it yet or not. So that's a great way of, I've shown you both ways really. There's the live synchronous quiz, or there's the asynchronous quiz. So probably that's it with 4 minutes to go. The only thing which I could show you very quickly, we've got a few minutes, is the interactive video. The interactive video is great because there's 2 reasons why it's good. First of all, there's a load already set up for you. So in other words, you could type in your search topics. If I just try typing in education, let's see what I get. So it will find all the videos that are already on there around education. Actually, I like to look at TED Talks. Let's see what's in TED Talks. Okay. So, understanding disability, for example, we've already got a resource in there that I could use that as the students are watching it, again, you'd share this in the same way I've just shown. You could assign it to a Google Classroom. As the students are watching it, it will stop the video and the students would then have to answer the question based on their content. And it stops them. They can't just skip through. They do have to watch it. It doesn't allow you to skip. It will allow me now, but when they're watching it, they will have to watch the whole video. So that's a great way of doing it. Or you can find your own YouTube videos, okay, and then answer your questions in around this. So I doubt I'm ever going to have a lesson on the sun, but if I did, I would proceed. And then, just like I did in the normal quiz, I could choose when to add a question. Let's say I wanted a question here. I could move it up, pause it there, add a question, and I get the same drop down of questions that I get in the normal quiz, some of which that you've seen today, like drag and drop, categorize, drop down, labeling. And remember, I'm going to be showing you some screencasts about how you put those questions together as well. It's fairly straightforward, but I'm talking about a 2 or 3 minute video just showing you how you do that. All right. So I really like that video, because a lot of students do use YouTube. We know that, to learn. So this is a great way, as I say, under Create, under interactive video, you've got a whole load of resources that you can use already, which in some of your subjects, there'll be some great stuff in there. Or you can find a YouTube you like and populate it with questions and share it as a synchronous resource. Or theoretically, you could do it as a synchronous, have it up on the screen in the classroom. Obviously, it will pause, and you can get the students maybe on whiteboards to vote on the answers based on the majority you put the answer in. But I think it works even better as an asynchronous resource. So, losing my voice after 3 sessions today, I'll come back to the Teams call, and then I'm happy in the last couple of minutes if anyone's got any questions, if I can find where you are. Hang on, where is it? You're here somewhere away from my calendar, sorry. You know, when you've got too many things open, there we are. I think you're behind it. Here we go. That's great. Thank you. Let's stop sharing now. Brilliant. So hopefully that was useful as a whistle-top tour of Quizizz, how to run a synchronous quiz. Maybe there's some question types there you haven't seen before. And I'm going to send you some help and support and resources how to do that. I've shown you then how to run it asynchronously with accommodations, which is a great new feature that the students, where you can actually start to make adjustments for individual students. And then finally, very quickly, how you can use the YouTube resource to have questions embedded. Obviously, I'm happy to take any questions. Otherwise, have a great evening. It is 5 o'clock, so I don't want to keep you any longer. Hopefully that was useful, and I'll have a good evening. I will keep me on the chat box for the next 2 or 3 minutes.